This is Aging Matters with your host, Robert Nations, on the news and talk of Sonoma County, 1350 KSRO.
And welcome 2014, right?
I know.
Oh, it's so exciting.
Already a new year.
I love a new year because it makes me really stop and reflect on my past year and what I want to accomplish in the new year. And so, based on the conversation we had Stephen Campbell last week,
yes.
What I've done is I've got on my mirror, I live by myself, so I can do whatever I want. Right? So I went in and wrote my three things on my mirror, and one of them had to do with my weight and exercise, right? Based on what we said. And then another one has to do with something that that I want. The other two have to do with things I want to accomplish in a year. So I'm reminded every day to remind myself what those three things are.
That positive talk is so powerful.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And
what's funny? Somebody came into my office talking about, weight loss this, and I'm going to try to lose this much, and I'm going to try to set. And I told him, don't say try, say I am.
There
I'm
you go.
doing this.
Yes.
I already am there.
So see, now I'm reminded every day that I weigh.
Exactly.
I weigh a certain amount. Exactly. And it's made a difference because I really got back into working out, which had something I had spent 8 months not doing.
Yeah.
I've gone and visited with my friend who's all about nutrition, and we're going to talk about that. And I'm actually going to do a cleanse here coming up.
Good.
So it starts when you change that perspective and that mentality, it really does have an effect.
Does it help you make better decisions when you got food
choices?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely made that impact. Oh, yeah. The minute I start working out, I start being much more conscious about what I put in my mouth.
That's great.
Because it all goes hand in hand.
Good for you.
So that's good. So today I thought we're going to have a guest, and we're going to talk about home care.
Okay.
Because there's been some changes in the law and major changes, in my opinion. And we need to talk about that and let people know what's going on. But I also thought we just need to talk about home care in general because somebody who may be listening doesn't really understand what that really means.
Right.
Right? Because what happens a lot of times is, families find that their mom has been sent to the emergency room. They've never really thought about what am I going to do and what do I do? Right? And how I got into this business years ago was because my grandmother, when I was in my 20s, fell and broke her hip. And, it was a long time ago, but she fell and broke her hip, and she was starting to show the early signs of dementia. And the only way we could take care of her was to sell our house and move into a nursing home. Right? And we've talked the last a few weeks ago about there's many more options today.
There are, yeah.
Well, one of the reasons I got into this business was because Grandma could have stayed home with some help. And what does that mean? And so that's kind of how I got into the business and bought Senior Helpers. But I want people to understand today what home care is all about and then what changes that have come about that are going to affect home care as we move forward. Some of it's really great. Some of it's okay. And some of it, unfortunately, is just something we're just going to have to live with. Right? So home care. There are really three types of home care that come into people's homes that help people stay home. Because I don't know if you know, Michelle, but the statistics say 80% of the American population wants to live in their home to the day they die.
Well, that seems like the ideal thing, that everybody wants to do that.
Well, yeah. I mean, that makes sense, right? I mean, I worked really hard to buy my house, and I'm really comfortable here. I have all my stuff. It comes down to, can you, right? Can you afford to stay in your home? Can you do it safely? And, in fact, can you do it socially? Because we'll talk about that as we go along. But so let's talk about how people stay in their homes, right? Okay. So number one is that you can stay in your home using a non-medical home care caregiver.
Okay.
Right? And what that means is that, and it's what my company does, Senior Helpers. What that means is a caregiver can come in the home and do companionship kinds of things. Okay. So you can come in and do cleaning service. We'll clean up. We'll make meals. We'll hang out with you, because, maybe your husband died a few years ago and you feel a little bit lonely, so we can hang out and have some socialization things. I had a client years ago that I got because he had lost his driver's license, and all of a sudden now he didn't have a way to go to the store. He didn't have a way to go to the doctor, and we provided that kind of service. I had a nice retired lady who took him on errands. So those are the kinds of things that we can do from a companionship basis. Then we can go to the next level. Still non-medical, we can go to the next level, and those are the kinds of caregivers that come in in case you don't feel safe taking a shower anymore by yourself. Okay. So a caregiver can do standby assistance or can actually help bathe you if that's the case, right? That same caregiver can do things like bathing, dressing, can do kind of med reminder kinds of things. And with my company, I allow my caregivers to follow physical therapy plans. So if in fact, let's go back to the scenario where mom went to the hospital and she got a knee replacement done, okay? And the first thing that you need to do with a knee replacement is start exercising. From today, they almost do it the same day you have the surgery.
It seems like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because the key to success is getting that new knee moving, right? Yeah. So what I allow my caregivers to do when we transition somebody home is they'll actually take the physical therapy plan that is, the physical therapist comes to the home and says, here's the physical therapy exercise you need to do. I'll allow my caregivers to get trained in doing that, and then they can make sure that that Mrs. Smith is doing the physical therapy exercises every day if that's the case. Right. So that's part of the non-medical home care personal plan. Now, based on conversations we've had, I also have caregivers that are trained in dementia. So because there are some point in times where mental cognitive, I can't talk today, their mental capacity is getting so that they need somebody that has more of a dementia kinds of experience. Right. So we have that as well. So those are the kinds of things you do in a non-medical environment. And then you have the medical environment, because a lot of times when people go and do, and we just kind of talked about it, people go into the hospital, they get the knee replacement, they need physical therapy. Well, physical therapy really is a medical kind of thing. So what happens is you can have a home health agency come into your home and actually do physical therapy within the home, right? So that really requires, when somebody's leaving the hospital, to make note, I don't want to go to the skilled care. I don't want to go to the rehab center. I want to go home. Well, the doctor can order home health. And home health is having that physical therapist come into the home and do physical therapy with you. Now, the unfortunate part is they can't come all the way. You might need a non-medical home care agency, or unless you're really good,